Hello, everyone. They say Christmas Eve is magical, but not all magic is merry. Sometimes it brings a nightmare you can't escape. It all started on Christmas Eve. 8-year-old Ethan was excited about the snowfall. He begged his parents to let him stay outside just a little longer to build a snowman. Wrapped in layers of wool and mittens, Ethan worked hard, packing the snow into 3 perfect spheres. "This is going to be Frosty's cousin," Ethan giggled to himself, pressing 2 dark rocks into the face's eyes. A crooked stick became its mouth. Smiling, though, something about it felt off. His dad called from the door, "Ethan, time to come in." Ethan turned back to his snowman for one last look. The snowman's crooked smile seemed to stretch just a little wider. "Must be my imagination," Ethan mumbled. As night fell, the snowstorm grew fiercer, covering the yard in a thick white blanket. The family gathered inside. Hot cocoa, twinkling lights, and the warmth of a crackling fire. At midnight, a noise broke the stillness of the house. Thud, thud. Something heavy moved outside. Ethan's mom jolted awake. "Did you hear that?" His dad dismissed it. "It's just the wind. Go back to sleep." But Ethan couldn't sleep. He felt something watching him. Pulling his blanket tighter, he peeked toward the window and froze. There it was, the snowman, now closer. Stood at the edge of the yard, its hollow black eyes fixed on his window. Snowflakes swirled, but the snowman didn't move. "It's just a snowman," Ethan whispered to himself. Just a snowman. But then he saw it. Footprints. Leading from the snowman toward the house. The next morning, Ethan's parents were startled to find a trail of wet, snowy footprints leading from the front door into the living room. "Who tracked snow inside the living room?" his mom asked, bewildered. "Wasn't me," Ethan said. His dad checked the lock. "It's shut. No one came in." But Ethan knew better. He glanced out the window. The snowman had moved again. It was closer. Right next to the house now. Its crooked smile now stretched impossibly wide. As the day went on, strange things happened. The family dog barked furiously at the windows but wouldn't go outside. The trail of snow inside the house seemed to spread, and the air grew unnaturally cold. When night fell, Ethan's mother screamed. The family rushed to her in the kitchen. There, on the frost-covered glass of the back door, were handprints, large, wet, and claw-like. "Someone's outside," she cried. Ethan whispered, "It's the snowman." His parents stared at him. "What are you talking about?" Ethan ran to the window and pointed, but the snowman was gone. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep again. He heard the sound, thud, 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 like something dragging itself along the floor. He sat up, his heart pounding. Slowly, he turned his head toward his bedroom door. It was open. The footprints were there, a fresh, wet snow on the carpet. Ethan's breath caught as he looked up. In the corner of his room, illuminated faintly by the moonlight, stood the snowman. Its smile now stretched ear to ear, its stick arms long and jagged. A low creaking sound, like ice cracking, echoed as it tilted its head toward him. "Mom! Dad!" Ethan screamed. His parents burst into the room, flipping on the light. But the snowman was gone. All that was left was a puddle of melted snow where it had stood. The next morning, the family decided to leave town. They packed quickly and hurried to the car. Ethan couldn't help but look back one last time. There, in the yard, stood the snowman once more. Only this time, its arms were raised, as if waving goodbye. Its smile had never been wider. As the car pulled away, the snowman's black eyes glinted. In the rearview mirror, Ethan could swear he saw it move. Sometimes, snowmen are more than just snow. They wait for someone to bring them to life.